January 12th, 2016. This is a day that I will never forget, and it has forever affected my outlook on life. As I tell you this story, I'd like you to think about a best friend, a sibling, or a significant other that is important to you in your life. Austin McNew was all of these things. He is one of the smartest, strongest, and most stubborn people I have ever met in my entire life. He was an all-area linebacker who woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day to go to the gym. Until January 12th, 2016. On January 12th, 2016, Austin was injured in a sledding accident. When I first heard about this accident, I was concerned, but I knew my friend Austin. He wouldn't get seriously injured. He just wouldn't. The next day, I found out that he had been paralyzed from the neck down. I was completely horrified by this, but the full force of what had happened to him just could not sink in. I could not believe it. And then I went to see him in the hospital. I'll never forget the day that I walked into the ICU at Methodist Hospital in Indianapolis. I will never forget walking in and seeing him laying there in a bed with a neck brace on. I'll never forget seeing him hooked up to a bunch of machines. I'll never forget watching him being lifted like dead weight from his bed to the chair. I'll never forget watching someone push on his chest just so that he could cough. And I'll never forget what he said to me when I couldn't stop crying. He said, "Alexa, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to walk again. It's going to be okay." I never thought something this terrible could happen to someone I loved, but it did, and it could happen to you. And this is why I believe that mesenchymal stem cell research and therapy should be legalized here in the United States. When most people hear stem cell therapy and research, their mind automatically goes to embryonic stem cell research, which involves the abortion process. And this is considered unethical by many cultural and religious groups. I'm going to begin first by explaining this opposition to stem cell research and therapy. When I first began looking for resources for my first speech, all the information I could find was on embryonic stem cell research and therapy. Dr. Pure defines embryonic stem cell therapy as the extraction of cells from an embryo, thereby which killing the embryo. This is the major problem that most people have with stem cell therapy. In addition, it is also common belief that people would be paid for donating embryos to stem cell therapy companies. This exists in some other countries, but it has never been discussed as actually being implemented here in the United States. These people are unaware of the newer innovations in technologies in regenerative medicine. Mesenchymal stem cell therapy does not involve any embryos or any abortion process. It is simply the extraction of cells from a patient's hip or leg or really any part of their body, and then they manipulate that tissue cell to become a nerve cell, a muscle cell, a cardiac cell. This kind of therapy has the potential to cure ALS, muscular dystrophy, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, spinal cord injuries, heart disease, diabetes, multiple sclerosis, cancer, and so much more. So many countries across the world have found huge success through clinical trials and actual therapies curing patients by mesenchymal stem cell research. The United States as a medical community is years behind all these other countries because it's illegal here. All scientists can do is research and think of ways to stem cell therapy. There's no way we can actually do it until it is legalized. Austin is only able to attend physical therapy a couple times a week. This is just to make him stronger so his body doesn't completely shut down. This will never guarantee him regaining any kind of movement. Based on the information that I've given you today, I hope you are able to see why mesenchymal stem cell therapy needs to be legalized in the United States. With our busy lives, it's easy to forget how blessed we are and how much we have. So every now and then, I'd like you to take the time and take in everything you have and everything that you're able to do. Every day, I regret the fact that I didn't go to more of Austin's football games to watch him tackle somebody. And I hate the fact that I'm beginning to forget the way he walked or how he looked when he would stand up. I never want any of you guys to have to feel this way. And this is why mesenchymal stem cell research needs to be legalized, to give young people like Austin a second chance, and to give your loved ones and family members who have these different diseases and disorders a second ask you to educate people on the new technologies and innovations in stem cell research. But most importantly, I ask you to count your blessings and never take anything for granted.
I know stem cell research isn't like legal in the United States, but what other countries is it like can you do it
In the continent of Europe, it's legal. China and Russia, I also believe, is legal.
And in those countries, is it just one kind of stem cell research, or is it embryonic? And
I know in Europe it's both. I'm not sure about the two other countries. But I know like now that they've done the more trials with the mesenchymal, there's been talk about just legalizing that because then it doesn't involve abortion at all.
Have they like pinpointed a reason why it's not legal in the United States? Because I know like my dad has Parkinson's disease, and the doctors have told him like this medicine isn't helping, there's nothing we can do. But if it was legal here, that could potentially help him.
Right.
So is there like a reason why it's not?
I think it's just because like it's, you know, no one really, like I didn't know about it. No one knows that all these other countries have come up with this stuff because it's been illegal here for so long. And it's mostly because like the unethical reasoning, it's kind of like abortion in a way because it's so hard to get people to change their views with the changing technology.
Did you say, or do you know if it'll fix dementia?
I actually did find in my last speech, and I think it's also kind of the same thing as Alzheimer's, where it can, if they do change like the cells to nerve cells or brain cells, it could repair like the damaged cells in the brains.
All right.